There's a twisted man in the wheelchair who was born with a slow but fatal disease hiding inside his body, biding its time. He can't control the spasms that rack him like high voltage electrical shocks. When they've passed, he smiles hard as if to apologize. We see him, but do not let our eyes connect. On the corner of the avenue, a woman cries out her desperation. She is enormous, flesh piled on flesh overflowing her clothes. Her serrated voice cuts louder than the cars racing to make the light. We quickly put $1 in her cup and walk away. The unhoused derelict used to stand beside the bodega or hold open the bank door in all weathers, except some days when he was sick or lost. But he always came back. Now, suddenly, we're shocked to realize it's been 3 years since last we saw him. A man, a woman, and their dog asleep under a grimy blanket. The sidewalk shed for a roof, a discarded mattress, their bed. They have been there off and on for a week or two, and we step carefully and lower our voices as we pass by. There is a child in a war zone. It is missing an arm, it is blind, it is crying in terror. It was born this day in the womb of a bomb. Into this world which is hell, it came to die. It reaches with its dead lips for its mother's dead teat. If it had legs, it would run away. We turn off the TV.
Hail, hail, ye African, hail ye oppressed, ye Afric band, who toiled and sweat in slavery bound, who toiled and sweat in slavery bound, and when your health and strength are gone, are left to hunger and to mourn. Let independence be your aim, ever mindful what is worth. Pledge your bodies for the prize, pound them even to the skies.
Firm, united, let us be, resolved on death for liberty, as a band of patriots join, peace and plenty we shall find.
Look to have with manly trust, and swear by him that's always just, that no white foe with impious hand, that no white foe with impious hand shall slave your wives and daughters more, or rob them of their virtue dear. Be armed with valor firm and true, their hopes are fixed on heaven and you, that truth and justice will prevail, and every scheme of bondage fail.
Firm, united, let us be, resolved on death for liberty, as a band of patriots join, peace and plenty we shall find.
just so heaven ordains. To you shall freedom be proclaimed. To you shall freedom be proclaimed. Raise your arms and bare your breast. Almighty God will do the rest. Blow the clarion a warlike blast. Call every Negro from his task. Wrest the scourge from Buckroft's hand, and drive each tyrant from the land.
Firm, united, let us be, resolved on death or liberty, as a band of patriots join, peace and plenty we shall find.
Part 1, Salvation Dialogue. If it needed a passport, she said, last bite of fettuccine primavera, open sesame, password special dispensation to get in, I would not want it. Would spurn salvation. The salad needs balsamic, the bread is stale. I have the knowledge, said the other, teacher of Bible studies, Tuesdays for recalcitrant adults, Sundays, children, 4 and up, pre-registration required. Unless you say the words, deeds, good or otherwise, will not suffice, not get you in. Identification at the door. My coffee's cold, the lettuce wilted. Mint jello, house tiramisu. The bureaucrat at heaven's door, please take a number and a seat. You're very important to us. Welcome to the gates of heaven. We'll validate your parking ticket. No storming countenance. Part 2. Your call is very ... to us. Please stay on the line. You take a number. Here's a bench. The latest magazines to read for the salvation of your wicked soul. Can you avoid reincarnation? Why churches fail. Modesty and the single girl. 12 rings to hell and more each day. You need 5 forms of identification, 4 people that can vouch for you, no relatives, 1 each from column A and column B. The entrance fee prepaid, no checks allowed. All earthly joy, desire, passion, striving for the final prize, long gone. The kingdom overbooked. We sold out early. Call again. Appreciate your patronage. Door closed.
A moment of silence. I must learn to pray again, like the old woman who roamed the city streets in the 1970s, when Lindsay released outpatients from mental hospitals, homelessness an everyday plight, sanitation department on strike for weeks, months, voluminous black garbage bags, accented sidewalks, piled high like metropolitan sculptured masses. Urine, fermented trash, noxious odors wafted through a city that could not clean itself up. Murder and crime rose like floodwaters of the surrounding Hudson River, indiscriminate and ruthless. Stretches of streets and avenues saddened by streetwalkers and their pimps not far behind, and drugs. The Daily News, the New York Post, in bold black lettering screamed the inadequacies of the city. The Times railed politely at the mayor and his corrupt cronies, hawked by men and boys on street corners when newspapers mattered. I must learn to pray again, like the old woman who used a rusty nail to scratch metal surfaces on doorways, in phone booths, on subway cars, and in every borough, one word, just one: pray. Graffiti artists, rebellious souls who tried to salvage some of the city's integrity with their paint can strokes, wanted to claim whoever it was as their own. But she wasn't one of them. Homeless and invisible, bag lady, maybe an outpatient living on the street, and doing the only thing she could to help: pray.
This poem is about the Palestinian diaspora from 15th of May 1948 to June 6, 1967. Nakba. I told this story so many versions that sometimes I forget how it all started an eternity away. Mother narrated the middle. I read the start. Father refrained from talking. I keep dwelling on the past while I should build the future. The problem is, every time I build a nest, Zion keeps destroying it. It all started a simple way. An innocent child growing in a sleepy town, Jericho. I still remember the mint tea. I still smell the rain evaporating.
Reaching across the divide. It was this time last year, I went to Antioch, Tennessee. I had never been this time of year, but all I remember was the cold and the slick, the bare earth, as if the snow had melted, but another storm, philosophical storm, that we would not quite understand, and suddenly death never brings full meaning. 1 year later, how could she leave us in the middle of the year? I thought I had something to be grateful for this year, taking my sister. Her children left a rift in the family. It should be as certain as the end of the month or last time together we drove down this long road full of sound from the expressway, full of secrets kept this way. She suffered, but we did not know she suffered. She'd rather cry in silence as we exchanged childhood stories. As we open our play box, we had never been so vulnerable. When she said to me, "I'm so proud of you," I hear her voice on the phone, as distant as her hospital room. I have always been her big brother, the other protector besides her husband. There was nothing I could do but grow in my grief, but make peace with myself that this is final. But suddenly, the picture comes back. All the years of growing, all the years of mama and grandma, all the years of aunt and uncle, all those years we played school because this was our imagination. We were children then, we were innocent. And then with age comes grief, with faith comes peace. I had no idea that this would be the last Thanksgiving, my last Hanukkah, my last Kwanzaa, my physical celebration, my last and only wish. If I would have known the unknown, if I can grow in my soul, if I did miss her so much, it would not mark a day of death for me. It would not seem to turn the burnt orange or the smell of pumpkin. The sundry things we place around us is meaningless. Objects cannot fulfill. There are spotted gourds, blotched, but retaining their color, the veil of snow of trees, and the reason to sustain is to be free, and I'm not there yet. I better forget, but I can. I'm not photographic, but the memory is autographic. So we could play again. We could sing again. We could blame again. But it would only be spiritual. It would only hindrance and my level to reconcile with this and any loss. So I listen for the phone or the email this time of year. Just in case this is a mistake, the gloves or the gray sweater she bought me 2 years ago, I can't let go. But I try not to smell too much. Like I try not to tell too much because it hurts. It's the murder of crows, the chore of loving someone, owning someone as family. I want to just hear her voice again, just to say, I'm proud of you, just to say, here is your nephew or niece, just to say, we're coming to New York to celebrate your birthday, just to say, we're there for you, just one more moment only.
Naked, meaning maker, raw, wild, unedited poet, both ordinary and extraordinary, volatile, mercurial, and unpredictable. I am a poet, not a mammy, not a whore, not a virgin, no Lolita, but poet. I am a poet, joyous, mysterious, tearful, and angry, forgiving, enraged, and enraging. I am a poet, courageous, cowardly, and encouraging, and loving and passionate, and lived and loved and unloved, and so full of contradictions. I am a mystic carabiner, Boricua born, Brujita, daughter of Zeus and Yemaya, and more or less, sometimes one, sometimes all, and sometimes none of the above. Yeah, I am sometimes a touchy-feely meaning maker, bypassing reason and aiming straight for your gut. I am ruthless and I like it. I am breathless, no quarter given, none asked for. Who the hell do I think I am? Was that the question?
Rise up inside of the enemy. We just gotta get down to see. It's our responsibility to fight until we free. Rise up inside of the enemy. We just gotta get down to see. It's our responsibility to fight, 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 fight. Victory sound good. Even when it come, gotta wash the hood. From the pigs and the rats up to no good. Fall back, tell me why I should. Look, I'm on a trip to Chiapas, trying to find out why they yell ya basta. Mexican Southeast, Lana Zapatista. My community would love to greet ya. Got hugs to meet ya. Learn from each other, each one's a teacher. Concern for my brother, cause they out to beat ya. The same they that's out to beat us. We got power, they can't defeat us. My struggle runs back way before the fetus. My ancestors, kings and queens, so read up. Why should I settle for the chains that keep us? Locked in cages, minimum wages, gentrification, land grab, look at what they taking. Rise up, Harlem, they shaking. Housing tenements, soon to be vacant. From the blacks, tell them fall back and give the land back and give the money back to my hood. Why don't you go back? If I can't live, where you gonna live at, huh? rise up inside of the enemy. We just gotta get there to see it's our responsibility to fight until we free. Rise up inside of the enemy. We just gotta get there to see it's our responsibility to fight. Canada, Mexico, USA, government signed NAFTA. North American Free Trade Agreements, 1994, they signed the agreements. Yep, you still pledging allegiance. One world supermarket go, they reaching. Indigenous land, they out for the keeping. No more corn and beans for seeding. Now, you raise cattle for eating. Send it away to another region. I know to the choir, I'm preaching. But it ain't for y'all, my hood I'm reaching. Shut up, stand up, we all immigrants. We all exploited, we all in the mix. We all gotta fight cause we all getting pimped. We all gotta get up, get down, down, down. Rise up inside of the enemy. We just gotta get there to see it's our responsibility to fight until we rise up inside of the enemy. We just gotta get there to see it's our responsibility to fight until we free. Peace. All power to the people. Y pa'lante siempre, mi gente.
He was a pipe cleaner man. A cross between Buckwheat and Jimi Hendrix. He had Wilson Pickett DNA, a voice 1 bass note lower than Marvin Jr. Folks called him the same as it ever was. And under the spell of the big leg, he knew pork is just pig, and you can't cook a fish if you throw it back in the river. It's the naming in the way. Like got any hot sauce or hanging with little Johnny Taylor at the I'll See You Later lounge, running on old Lee, that bull that comes through the door. Same as it ever was, never tongue-kissed. And going down was out of the question. He always walked in a straight line, even around crooked places, so he kept stumbling into things. Backdoor deals. Women who claimed they loved him but couldn't remember his name. Men who sold him used cars with no tires. Same as it ever was, wasn't always good, but he was never bad. He was a half step ahead or behind, he couldn't determine which. He walked into rooms and said, hello, he must be going, which is the way in and how do I get out? Once, he saw a circus midget pee against a wall. When he asked why, the midget replied, nothing grows, nothing endures, without some degree of shit. But same as it ever was, paid no mind to midgets. Crooked walkways, used cars with no tires. He lived in palm trees, air sweet like Carolina. He knew he wasn't in Beulah anymore, and there wasn't gonna be any syrup for his bread or cotton for his whoosh, but same as it ever was a citizen of the world. He claimed no earth except the ground he walked on, the shoes he carried in a plastic bag marked models. He believed in heat, even when the forecast was winter. He said people didn't know what the blues was till their biscuit roller was gone, and why did lost people ask him for directions as if he was a man who knew where he was going. The woman he cared about had 2 left feet. A come on in my kitchen look, a black cat hoot hollow bones. She did not need him, want to need him, or need to love him, but she did anyway. She said there were 3 gates to every city, and that a wall is still a wall, and no matter what side you're standing on, that when things reach critical mass, better to be an old dog in Yazoo City than on the other side of a line picking dimes, trying to tell the difference between cabbages and kings. In quiet moments, when same as it ever was thought she couldn't hear, she whispered, when the way is open, you gotta go. No one needs a lifeboat with a hole in it. You fit in all the places you need, you stay. But same as it ever was, trusted no vision other than his own. God gave him one face, he made another. and another. He claimed to be late-night action, a string man clever in his silence. Like a saw coming apart at the edge, all his face is dull as sorrow. He dug in the past, breathed between cracks, dogged the midnight moon, messages he never put in a bottle. Choices his mind made, his body refused to follow. But the woman who loved him held tight, told him a butterfly can learn to fly with broken wings. When legends die, there are no dreams. Life is a ceremony for the living. Some get scattered when you tear it all down. Love is at the end. You have only to open your hands and see. Same as it ever was, saw the sun over Beulah, heard voices calling his first and last name, saw 3 candles in a doorway, worms consumed by flame, the loss coming back to meet him. He wiped 9 tears from his eyes, opened his hands, placed his shoes under the bed, wrapped his arms around his woman, and shouted to the heavens, "Put some bacon on my sandwich, Delilah, 'cause I don't like no ham."